I would like to address particular questions that keep coming up in the comments here on YouTube, as well as in other forums such as the Cemu subreddit regarding the Cemu iGPU testing videos that I've been making. I've answered these questions many times and in many different ways, but I figured I'd make a video on this topic in hopes to save the time writing the responses again and again. People keep asking me why I even bother making iGPU videos. Some people think that it's pointless, that it's a waste of time, and is a distraction from what they themselves want to see, which is Cemu running on high-end hardware. Some have even suggested that just by sharing these videos, I'm hurting Team Cemu's project by presenting an inaccurate picture of how Cemu is progressing and how it runs on supported hardware, despite the fact that I clearly label my video content as testing specifically on iGPU. To start off, I very much disagree that it in any way paints the Cemu team in a negative light. I think it actually does the exact opposite, since iGPU isn't even officially supported. The progress made is very impressive, even on lower spec hardware, and I think that this should be showcased and highlighted as being the case. I think that people are pretty intelligent for the most part and understand that performance on an iGPU, which Cemu clearly states isn't supported, isn't going to match the performance on a dedicated card which is supported, and that the lower performance on iGPU is not solely a representation of Cemu as a whole. So let's move on and dive a little bit deeper to answer the question which really needs to be answered, which of course is, why am I making Cemu iGPU videos? So here it is. While it's true that a dedicated GPU is preferred, the fact remains that this isn't always an option for everyone. There are many reasons that people are playing on iGPU and are unable to use a dedicated card. For example, though it is relatively affordable to buy a mid-range card, cost might still be a barrier for these users. For many other users, running a dedicated card isn't even a possibility due to hardware restraints. Integrated graphics run many systems, especially on laptops or mobile devices, such as tablets. So these videos are for the niche group of people who are using iGPU, and are also passionate about Cemu and want to play their Wii U games on their particular configuration of hardware. But it's not just for them, it's also for the other Cemu supporters who are interested in PC hardware in general, and would like to know how Cemu is running on a range of hardware during the course of its development. I myself fall into the latter half. From a testing perspective, I found it incredibly interesting testing Cemu on iGPU to see the strides in performance taking from build to build, even on a platform that isn't even officially supported by the Cemu team. I think it speaks volumes on the progress that the team has made, and again, this deserves to be showcased. I also think that it's akin to taking the lowest common denominator, if you will, and using that to test on to give people an idea of what to expect on lower end hardware. It gives us a general baseline to look at in terms of general performance. And of course I say general because not all systems are created equally, and therefore, these are definitely not apples to apples comparisons. Unless you're on an HEDT platform, chances are you have integrated graphics. So if you decide to unplug your dedicated GPU, you'll also have an idea of what to expect running Cemu. So in my opinion, and for interest's sake, it's good to have an idea either way of how Cemu is running in all hardware scenarios. Of course, some just won't find this interesting because they don't care about PC hardware, Cemu's development, or any other tech-related stuff having to do with Cemu. They just want to watch Cemu running on high-spec machines, or maybe they just want their games to play and call it a day. And that's totally fine too, but for the rest, I make these videos. So I hope that explains where I'm coming from. Cemu's come a very long way in a short amount of time, and I find that incredibly impressive as well as exciting, and at the end of the day, I like to share this content because I know that there are those of you who do really appreciate it. I read it all the time in the comments. As for moving into the future, and Cemu testing videos go, there are already so many other dedicated GPU Cemu testing videos out there, so when I eventually move on from the Cemu iGPU testing videos for upgrading purposes, and if I decide to continue to make Cemu testing videos, it will be important to me to find a way to do it that actually contributes to the community instead of being more of the same. So I hope that answers the question as to why I'm making iGPU Cemu videos in the first place. Of course, if you're not a fan, just carry on with your life. There's no need to make a big deal out of it just because you aren't interested in it. It's really not hurting anybody. So that's that. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. And if you have watched this far, you'll probably also be interested to know that I do have new Cemu iGPU videos posted regularly, and I have a bunch of them coming this week. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, have fun, game on, and remember, don't forget to smile.